Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another episode of Weekend Rewind here on Jack of All Trivia. Our weekend rewind, we go over the past match or the past week's matches. We go over some news, maybe some interesting stuff that has happened. But we go over that and we take your live questions. So if you are in our live chat, prepare those questions and we will get to them when that segment hits. But first of all, I'm not Brooklyn. Brooklyn usually hosts these. I'm here this week. Brooklyn's taking some time off, as you might have known from our last movie match. He's taken some time off to be with the family, get the new house situated, and hopefully we can have a virtual new house tour maybe with his fancy new 20 megabytes a second internet, you bastard. But I am not alone here because you would be bored out of your mind listening to me talk because I'd probably just talk about Power Rangers. But joining me tonight, first, our special guest that you know of, he is Sean Sandberg. Sean, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing well. I always love hopping on these weekend rewind things, just because, we get to chat about, people that we know and a lot of the fun stuff that's gone on within the league. And, yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about all the different matches, including about how I got my ass whooped by a certain someone who may or may not be on this stream. So
I wouldn't call it an ass whooping, but we'll get to that when we cover that match.
You get beat.
But it wasn't an ass whooping, I would say. But regardless, our next competitor, or not competitor, but our next guest, he is one of the founding fathers of all this when it was still Schmo's Nose before the rebranding. He is Caleb Mashed Potatoes himself. Caleb, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, man. Doing real good. Like I said before we started the call, just living that winter life. Been shoveling for forever, and I'm tired.
Yeah, you guys are further up north than what I am, so we got our snow out of the way. Now we're on icy rain, which is lovely.
That's always fun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But I think we'll get started now, getting into the rewind of the past week, which I have the matches right here, which we'll break down and talk about one by one, starting with this past Sunday, or this past Monday, because we didn't have anything for TV Sunday, which we'll get to that when we cover next week. But we had February Frenzy 1, Dan Skip Allen versus Malcolm the Crusher Lay versus a mystery opponent for this match, which we found out who that mystery opponent was, which was our very own Mark Boric.
The Canadian Nightmare.
Yes, the Canadian Nightmare. And
he lives up to his name.
Oh, yeah. And Mark won that match, surprisingly, which surprised the hell out of me because I didn't think he knew that much with music. But let's go to two people that do know music a lot. Let's go to Caleb first. Caleb, did you see the match? What were your thoughts on it?
I did see the match. I was co-hosting, or I was helping out with that. It was a good match. I think, yeah, absolutely. Mark was surprising. He was going into that being like, I know absolutely nothing about music. Turns out he knows slightly more than Malcolm and Dan, at least about those particular subjects. I'd really like to see Dan back in a more specific kind of match, though. Because I feel like he didn't really get to display the knowledge that he has. Because I actually talked to him for a good, maybe hour after that match, and he knows a ton of stuff. It's just he doesn't know the pop and, hip-hop areas very well, and that's what killed him. And yeah, Malcolm, I think that makes him 2-0 now. Yeah. He surprised. 0-2. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, because I beat him and then so did Mark.
Yep.
Surprisingly, both three-ways. So I don't know if he's just the three-way kid or what, but it does not work out for him. Hopefully next time we can get him a singles match.
Yeah. Yep. Because he has been a lot of three-way matches that a lot of 3-ways he probably wants to stay away from now after getting his ass beat, and not in a fun, good way. But
Yeah, absolutely.
Shawn,
certainly not my
Shawn,
fantasies.
what were your thoughts with the match? Oh yeah,
yeah. I want to be respectful to my competitors and stuff like that because it didn't go well for Dan Skip Allen. That was pretty bad because I think throughout the whole match, I don't think he scored one. Like, I'm pretty certain. Caleb, correct me if I'm wrong, but he wound up with a score of like a big old goose egg at the end, correct?
No, I'm pretty sure he hit his 2-pointer in the last round, but that was the only question he got right.
Okay. Yeah, see, that's really unfortunate, and here's the thing. I think I really agree with Caleb on this one. I don't think that fully shows the level of knowledge that Dan has when it comes to music. It's just sometimes you get bad categories.
yeah.
It's just the way it goes. Like, I know Brooklyn's gonna really try and fucking like hit me with some shit that I don't know about when it comes to my next match, and so it's gonna be the way it goes for a lot of people. You can't listen to everything.
Yeah. It's kind of like that for every division, whether it be movies, wrestling, music, TV, intergeekdom. You're not going to know everything.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Caleb.
I was just gonna say, like, for example, like, I've got like a lot of like varied knowledge, but like I don't think even I've been able to pull out an impressive performance in Jukebox, just because well, a lot of it is just like I've got different taste than Brooklyn, and B, like, a lot of the questions he asks were about like pop music, and I've like never been a fan of pop music, so
yeah. I mean, regardless, it was.
So if you want to beat me in Jukebox, there you go.
Oh yeah.
Pop music, that's how you do it.
And then just get away from Shawn's strengths, and you might have a good goddamn shot there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that covers for the music match. And then, of course, for Movie Tuesdays, we had a double header here. We had a newbie match, seeing Danny versus
Jeff Pickering.
Jeff, yes.
Yeah.
I was there hosting that. I should know that, but I don't remember names all too well. But that was the first one. We started off with a newbie match, getting some new blood in there. Let's start with Shawn this time. Shawn, what were your thoughts with what you saw with the competitors? How you think they measured up? How do you think they'll look in the future?
I think that Jeff, I actually feel really bad about this match because I wrote the questions for it, but didn't have much time to do any testing. I wound up getting them done in very short order, and just before the match. But I think with Danny's 5-pointer, I should have flipped the 3 and the 5-pointer, because the 5-pointer I had written was which 2000 film stars Gene Hackman and Keanu Reeves, and it was in the category of sports films, which it's The Replacements. Yeah. But my 3-point question was, what 1961 film is a sequel? The Color of Money is the sequel to what 1961 film? Which is a little bit more of a 5-pointer than The Replacements is. And so I actually kind of feel bad about it, because I don't know if I think the questions at the end of the day kind of screwed Jeff a little bit. And like I said, I do feel bad about that. So, but otherwise, yeah, it was a fairly low scoring game, but both guys came to play, and I felt like I wrote some tricky questions. So it was one of the things, like, I thought they did well. So.
Yeah. For the questions asked, they did exceptionally well for what was asked of them. I mean, you're not, like I said, like we said before, with music, with movies or anything, you're not going to know everything. And they had their gaps, but you saw what they did know, and they were strong with that. But Caleb, same questions. What do you think of it?
I thought it was fun. It was good. Like Sean said, it was a low-scoring match. I don't think, I don't think Shawn should beat himself up too much about the question mix-up. It happens. It's gonna keep happening because that's just how it goes. People have problems with questions, and we're all human, and we all make mistakes. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know that the gambler was necessarily, or I mean, the hustler was like so much harder of a question.
Well, it depends on what
but yeah,
you know.
it was
but,
really
like,
good.
yeah. Sorry.
And then the other thought I had, they both proved that they. Tim was saying they both proved what they knew and what they didn't know, and what they don't know is Tom Hardy. So that was pretty
Poor
fun.
Tom Hardy.
Nobody saw that coming when they didn't score. Neither of them scored more than a point, I think, in the second round.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna lie. Because...
Pretty funny, but I am looking forward to seeing those guys again. They were fun, and I feel like that might have been like a feeling out match where it was like, okay, we know these guys' skill level now. We can start pairing them with people that are similarly skilled and write appropriately leveled questions for them as well.
Yeah, I mean, most beginning matches are feeling out matches to see what they know, how they can compare to other competitors in the league. And yeah, poor Tom Hardy, because being the producer, I do a lot of these and take a look at the live chats, and Kane was going nuts in there with Tom Hardy. And I want to say it was Jim too, but I think it was mainly Kane of going, just listing off Tom Hardy movies. I'm like, well, it happens sometimes. I mean, I maybe had a 4 Robin Williams for my team matches, and then I just threw a blank, but it happens. And yeah, we'll see more of them. We'll be able to appropriately put them together with other competitors for interesting matches. But our second match that time for movie doubleheader was the returning competitors of both Chance the Titan Ellison and Haven the Villain Pendergast, where it was a slobber knocker brawl for them, and it was a fight. Chance came out the victor of that. Haven lost it by a few points, but still put up one hell of a fight. So, I mean, Caleb, let's go with you first. What were your thoughts with that match? How do you think it went down? What do you think the future of each of the competitors are going to be?
I mean, we all know Chance is a beast. Again, I hate to admit it, the guy rarely loses. I think he's only ever lost in any trivia 3 times, and that's in any trivia, any league. The guy just is like a strange encyclopedia of knowledge, and
he's so young.
I mean, he put on a clinic there. I don't remember exactly how many I think he only missed 1 question. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, he missed one in the first round.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then and then Haven, he had an off day. He just wasn't ready. He wasn't prepared, and you can't, when you're going up against the Titan, you can't have an off day. You can't make any mistakes, because I mean, he only made a few. Haven wasn't doing bad, but then I mean, coming out of the first round, I think he was shaken, and then Chance just capitalized it on that and blew him away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we saw the same thing with literally in the Schmodown with Rachel versus JT and Kalinowski. It was a similar type of match where it was just oh yeah, JTA made 1 mistake, and Sarah just didn't make any mistakes, and that's what Chance did too. He freaking, Rachel, by the way,
I was gonna say, yeah.
not her sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rachel. But yeah, the Chance did the exact same thing, and just like made him pay for that little slip that he had in the first round, and like he just couldn't make it back. That's all how it works.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, it does go with that where, yeah, Haven had an off day and then Chance just capitalized with it, seeing that, and it happens. It does, but you can't really hold that against him because both of these are heavy hitting competitors. We'll see more of them. I mean, Chance is going to have probably a bright future heading towards that title, which a lot of people are heading towards that. But Shawn, what were your thoughts with that match? Since you are one of the people in like a brighter spot to get closer to that title, now that Chance is nipping behind your heels there, and you two did have a little confrontation at the end of that match, I might say.
Yeah, we did. Well, I think it was just more so the fact that like he was demanding a title shot at the end of that when Grant is already playing, and there's some stuff behind the scenes which I won't get into so much, but yeah, that was, for starters, he KO'd Haven. It was a solid performance, taking nothing away from Chance whatsoever. But yeah, I mean, you know what? I'm gonna be a little bit like quiet on this one because we'll chat about this after the stream ends and stuff.
Yeah, it was it got pretty heated there in the post match interviews. For anyone who didn't watch that, go back and watch that match and you'll see what we're talking about. But that was it for Movie Tuesday that day. And wrestling, we took some time off.
Well, I mean, was it Thursday that we wound up filming a certain match as well that turned out to be a total dumpster fire?
That's in the future. We won't talk about that.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about it at some point.
Yeah,
in the near future.
But
what dumpster fire? Tuesday, there was no dumpster fire ever.
Unless you're talking about my dating life. That is a dumpster fire. That is literally a smoldering dumpster fire I cannot put out.
I mean, dude, we all play movie trivia online and hang out with a bunch of people that are from different states and fucking countries. I think that it's pretty a safe assumption that most of our dating lives are dumpster fires.
Yes, and we're not putting them out anytime soon. But wrestling,
Byrne bright.
Oh yeah. But wrestling, we took a little bit of a break on because we're getting ready for a certain match coming up, which we'll talk about after in the next segment.
Yeah.
But Thursday, our last live match was our Inner Geekdom Newbie Match, which saw surprisingly two heavy hitters, and they're both here with the debuts of Sicario Sean Sandberg and Mashed Potatoes, the real Caleb himself. And it was honestly, I'm going to say it was a far better match than what you'll hear one of our competitors say. It was a far better and closer match, which Caleb came out with the win, technical knockout, but Shawn took it the distance, and I'm not taking anything away from both of these competitors. But let's go to Shawn first, get his thoughts with that match since he was in there.
Well, I didn't take it the distance because I got TKO'd, so yeah, one of the things you've already said is incorrect.
Well, no. You took it into the third round. I think you went to your 5-point question. So
I went to the second quote that I had to get.
Well, yeah.
I've seen the losers once. It was a few months ago, and I just didn't remember that quote. And I didn't remember Chris Evans' character's name or anything like that. So, I mean, it was a tricky one, though. Like, I mean, I know that a bunch of people were saying after the match, they were just like, man, that quote was a bitch to fucking remember. But, I mean, at the end of the day, Caleb came to play. And I have nothing but respect for the guy. Like, the whole thing is, like, if I try and be, like, super nice to, fake Caleb, as, our good buddy Mashed Potatoes likes to refer to him as, after I beat him, then when I lose, I got to fucking be humble as well. You know what I mean? It's like Caleb came to play, he kicked my ass, and, it was, but yeah, I mean, I didn't get a great spin of the wheel in the second round, but, that's just the way it goes sometimes. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. At least you're constantly not hitting Harry Potter like another competitor that always does, and Inner Geekdom gets pissed off, but,
Well, that could be a bunch of people, but I mean, I think you're referring to yourself in that one, right?
No, I haven't played Inner Geekdom yet.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, okay.
Nope. That'll soon change later at the beginning of March. But let's go to our other competitor here that was in that match, Caleb. Caleb, what were your thoughts with the match, with how everything went down, your performance, your opponent, what have you?
I thought it was a good match. Shawn put up a good fight. I didn't win by much, even though there was the TKO. And like I told Shawn, I don't know if I said it on camera, but I told Shawn after that, like, I wouldn't have gotten that one either. I knew the movie. I could have guessed the character, or I mean the name or the actor, but I could not pull the character name whatsoever. I wouldn't have gotten those points. And I just got lucky, man. I had an off day, and there was a lot of stuff going on that day. My head wasn't really in the game. I got I got not the best. Like, I was actually pretty excited. I got video game movies. I didn't quite expect them to be all so current. So I kind of had to struggle through that, and then I just got lucky that Shawn hit Star Trek, and because that's like I've been so vocal since the very beginning of this league that Star Trek is like my favorite of those categories.
Yeah.
I mean, Star Trek and Lord of the Rings, I'm about that all day. So I just got really, really lucky. Shawn's way too humble. But yeah, I'm excited that I got the win. I'm excited I got the TKO. And I'm excited to play whoever I play next. It's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah. And I think that covers for all the matches we had this past week. There is something else I do want to cover match-wise with what we've had this week because, as you know, this is an inspiration from the actual Schmodown. And the Schmodown Season 5 has started back up with last week. And you saw this week a couple of matches as well, which I kind of want to talk about with the rewind, even though it's not Jack of all trivia, but it is important regardless with the team match we saw with Top That versus Top 10, and of course, why this match even happened, I have no idea. Lon Harrison versus poor Cody Hall. But I do want to talk about that real quick with the whole first with the team match with Top That versus Top 10. Let's start with Caleb. Did you see the match, and what were your thoughts with how the match went and the outcome of it?
I have seen that one. I haven't seen the Cody Hall versus Lon Harris yet because I would still need to do my reaction. But the Top 10, that was the top 10 we all know and love. Oh, or maybe not all of us love him, but I do.
I do.
The Outlaw was in top form. Harloff said it, like, hadn't seen him like that since probably his Dan Murrow match, like the first one. Mm-hmm. He had an incredible game, and Matt Nost, who has honestly been the stronger competitor recently, or at least the more consistent competitor, came in and just blew the doors off, man. Like, the simultaneous perfect round that's never happened before. They tied, who is it, Modoc's record?
Yeah.
Of 35. That was history in the, like, it was so good. I loved every second of that match. That's taking nothing away from Top That, who, I mean, I think they only had 33. Like, they were only down by like 2 points at the end of it. It was insane.
Oh yeah.
Those guys are amazing. I had them in my fantasy league last year, and then they broke up, and I was heartbroken. So I'm glad they're back, and they're gonna kick some major ass.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Just not top tens.
Yeah, I mean we won't mention because like you said you still have to do your reaction for it. We won't mention the Lon Harris and Cody Hall match then, but I mean for that tag match you
I mean, I can
saw.
take my headphones off, and you guys can talk about it.
No,
Just take your headphones off because I've got a few things to say about that match. To be honest.
Oh,
with you.
okay. Well, real quick, I'll get my thoughts out real quick for the tag match, and then me and Shawn will go with the singles match then. But I mean, you saw a dominant performance from Top 10. You know, Boombaye motherfuckers are back with both of them hitting perfect rounds in teams, which I don't think we've seen ever.
Never.
In teams hitting a perfect round for both of them, and they capitalized, and they had, you know, Top that gave them biopics where when you give John Roca biopics, you might as well just bye. You're done. Bye. It's over. And especially when they had that lead after round one. And they got lucky with round two hitting comic book movies to get them closer. But, I mean, Top 10 played with a fire like we haven't seen for a long time. And I hope they play like that in the Patriots match when they get their title shot and just take back their crown. Just take back their belts. I know, Mark, you're here in the chat, but, you know, fuck the Patriots. But Shawn, real quick with your thoughts on the tag match, and then before we get to the singles, we'll have Caleb take off his
pop his headphones up.
Yep.
I was really, really impressed with Top 10, especially because, you know, like I made no qualms about it when I was doing like, because I did Woodburn show, you know, Schmodown All Access, and Hunter and I and Chance did a recap and, you know, and basically our predictions for what was going to happen. And I can tell you right now, I was correct on one of the outcomes, but neither match went the way that I expected. As far as Matt Nose goes, I was really, really impressed because it's like I've always kind of thought he was the weaker of the two competitors when it came to Top 10. Mm-hmm. I always thought that, you know, John Roca was the guy that always brought it. And, yeah, with the way Matt Nose played, it was absolutely phenomenal. That being said, there was one question in particular that both members of Top That missed that I was like, okay, hand in your fucking film nerd cards right now, you know. And that was the, according to, in The Godfather, which character is sleeping with the fishes?
That's like, the one that Vejvoda missed.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was the one that Vejvoda missed, but also, I can't remember what his teammate's name is right now. But the fact that both of them missed Luca Brasi, I was just like, what in the fuck is going on right now? Because you figure like that's one of the most. I mean, it's a question that is one of the most iconic quotes from maybe the most iconic film of all time, and I don't understand how they missed that. I really don't.
Yeah, especially with them too, because they are more. You would expect them to know more of those classic films like The Godfather. Oh yeah. And it's surprising they missed that, but I mean, despite missing that, they still tried to keep it as close as they could. I mean, they just couldn't.
They did, yeah, absolutely. I'm not taking anything away from them, but that was just like, I mean, that was the difference in tying the game right there.
Yeah.
Because what, it was a 2-point difference. It was 35 to 33 at the end of the game.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, if they both hit Luca Brasi, then it goes into overtime.
Well, no, because I didn't. I think Nose won it on a 3-pointer, didn't he?
Did he? Okay. Well, no, but he would have. Okay, he would have tied it on the 3-pointer, but they would have had to hit the 5-pointer.
Yeah. I think so.
They had to go to the 5.
It's either they break the record if the both of them got Luca Brasi, or they go into overtime, and they still break the record.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was it was a fairly poor showing for Top That, and once again, giving John Roca biopics. Like, I'm amazed that a "you fucked up" chant didn't start in the middle of that entire set.
Oh, they probably took that out in production. They were probably just like, yeah, let's take this out.
Oh, probably. I mean, like, because there was, man, that was just such a dumb move.
Because I think even
and like Christian even set it up that way too. That was like, oh, they don't watch. Like maybe they'll make a mistake. What are they gonna pick for them? And then they did it. Oh, it was so beautiful.
Oh yeah, it was like, we're gonna give them biopics, and it's just like,
yeah.
Harloff was silent there. He was just like taken aback.
Like you should have at least done a little bit of homework on your opponents.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like I mean, he like Roca still has not missed a single biopics question.
Yeah.
He's had to go multiple choice, but he's never missed. He's never missed a biopics question. Like,
no, he hasn't. I mean, he's a fucking animal when it comes to that category. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, those are my overall thoughts on the matter. Like, Christ, why did they give
I will say I don't think. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I will say that like I don't think Top That was as lucky as you say, Tim. I think they are really strong, especially Jim. Jim knows his stuff. I mean, he was beating himself up over Luca Brasi. Like, he just couldn't pull it. I've had those days in our league. I felt his pain, specifically with freaking, like, blanking on Matt Hardy. Or not Matt Hardy, Tom Hardy. God damn it. I do that all the time.
He's broken.
See?
Broken Matt Hardy now.
Yes, indeed. Broken Tom Hardy? I got you. Good.
Oh, God, that'd be hilarious to see. I'm sorry. On Venom, he's broken Tom Hardy, just going, delete.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think I think that they're saying their strength is in comic book movies is kind of like when Shawn was partnered with Salvi, and he let the weaker competitor pick their strengths.
Is that match out yet?
I don't even think it's out yet. I don't think.
No, I don't think it's out yet.
That was like...
I know, it was like a month ago, but yeah, no.
It was like over a month ago.
Yeah, I know, but it's like... There's been a bunch of stuff going on over the Worldwide Movie Games, so...
apologies for the spoilers, then.
Oh, well, hey, you didn't say... Well, for starters, I mean, there's a... Once you see that match, it didn't go badly whatsoever.
Yeah, that match hasn't come out yet, so it's a surprise for us all. But I think with that out of the way, we'll go ahead and mention the individual match. So we'll have Caleb put on his big boy ears so he doesn't hear us.
Yep. Just like start waving or something when you want me back.
Yeah. Right. I'll start doing this whenever we're done with that.
All right, cool.
To get you back.
Yep.
All right. Okay, I'll start it off first with Lon Harris versus Cody Hall when all he did was pressure poor Cody Hall into this match. And I mean, Cody hasn't competed since
2014.
The Schmoes Nose days of this when we first started seeing this. And it's like, okay, it's that big question of what does Cody Hall know? What has he learned in the off time? And I mean, to be honest with you, with that match, Sean, those questions were, I think I went 7 for 8 with those questions, and they were dumbed down, and I'm surprised Lon Harris missed a lot of those first round questions.
I was shocked by that because I think that the questions were really tailored to the fact that Cody's a younger guy, but I went 9 for 9 with those. Like, I went 9 for 9, and I didn't think that those were difficult questions. So the fact that Lon missed a few showed a few chinks in the armor. But not just that. Like, I think we all thought Cody Hall was going to get fucking destroyed.
Especially in round 2.
Oh, yeah, and had he not landed on opponent's choice, totally different match, potentially. He could have taken the professor out like no one's business.
Yeah. And, I mean, Yeah, and he did very well with classics. He still got, I think, at least 3 points out of that.
Yeah, I think so.
And Lon just, I forget what Lon hit. What was
Lon
it?
hit Family Films.
Yeah, and he shit the bed on those.
Oh yeah.
Like I was hitting those back and forth, and I'm just like,
same.
I was just like in shock. Like, how do you miss that? And I mean, yeah, maybe he didn't know. Maybe he's just like a classic snob and just does the classics and the older ones. But
oh, really?
I mean,
the guy who comes off as such a pompous, fucking esoteric guy is really, really into classics? No fucking way.
yeah, we're not really spoiling anything there with Lon Harris, but
yeah, no, not whatsoever.
I mean, it was surprising for that match, and it went to a tiebreaker, and Cody just couldn't hit that last one, or else it would have kept going. But I mean, Cody had a solid performance. Granted, like you said, those questions were tailored to him, but I mean, did you have like any more overall thoughts with that, Shawn? Or?
Not really. I mean, I want to keep this short and sweet so we can get Caleb back on, so he can put his headphones back on. That way he's not just like standing around with his dick in his hand, basically.
Yeah, but I think for that match it was a solid match for what you got. I think the questions were more on a celebrity match type of level with the question level of them, but it was a match. It happened. And we'll see what happens next week. But, okay, Caleb, put your headphones back on. Caleb, there we go.
No, yeah, I got it. I saw you.
Okay. All right. But I think that covers for all of our recap.
It's okay. My brother's watching it. I got a little caught up.
Oh, yep. But yeah, I think that's it for our overall recap for everything we did, plus the Schmodown I wanted to cover. So let's go into a couple quick news stories, I guess. They wouldn't be news stories, but stories for us, for our league. The first one I do want to cover is a certain individual has left for personal reasons to take some time off, vacating the wrestling championship. So once we film and do the JTH and Hunter match, it will be for the WTS championship. That is Alex Warden. He is taking some personal time off to get recentered, re-cheed, however you want to say it. But he's taking some time off, relinquish the title because it's going to be a little bit. So, yeah, we're going to have that wrestling number one contenders. It's going to be for the championship, so we have a champion for wrestling. But just real quick, Caleb, let's start with you. Was it a surprise to hear that all of a sudden, like him stepping back and relinquishing that title?
I mean, it certainly was surprising. Certainly, like every announcement that he's made, he's kind of like sort of been like stepping back a little and stuff. But every time he said that he still wants to play and he still wants to defend his title, and even like made a post about that, which was strange. Like just before making the coming to us and making the announcement that he was done with us. So it definitely came as a surprise, and I hope he figures out whatever he needs to figure out, and he's totally welcome back whenever he decides that he's ready. But yeah, it was a bit of a gut punch. So yeah, and it certainly I'm sure there's going to be a few people that are very angry about Hunter now having a title shot without having to win a match. But what are you going to do?
Yeah. Shawn, were you surprised by it, or were you thrown back?
Not really, no.
Yeah. It was.
Alex has been clearly going through some stuff over the last little while. And it's not super surprising to me that he'd want to take a step back. Now, how much of a step back he winds up taking, that's going to be the big question. Yeah, we'll only time will tell on that one. But yeah, it strikes me as a bit odd, him just up and walking away from the wrestling trivia championship. Like that was surprising to me. I don't want to make a Conor McGregor comparison, but never defended the belt, so
Yeah. It is one of those where, like you said, Shawn, time will tell. We'll see how much time he takes and whatever. But yeah, he's more than welcome back. He'll be back in wrestling. You'll see him in movies, probably Inner Geekdom, But yeah, it was a surprise and shock. But yeah, like Caleb said, not a lot of people are going to be happy with Hunter getting a title shot now with that. But I think most of our money is going to be on JTH for that. And that's nothing against Hunter, but
no, and I think it's also with how humble JTH was on the last rewind that you guys did, where he was talking about how it's like, Hunter's really got a great shot at winning this whole thing, and it's like the guy is total class act. You can just tell. I mean,
oh yeah,
I don't think he wants to bolster himself as being this wrestling trivia god, but at the same time, I mean, I don't really watch the wrestling trivia as much because to me it's like hearing Chinese when the fucking questions come up. Just because I don't watch wrestling.
Yeah.
So it's the type of thing where but with how many different people I've heard consistently say JTH is just an absolute beast, and it's the type of thing where he plays the top competitors almost always. I gotta say,
he has not had an easy match, I don't think, period, in his career.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and yeah, the whole Nico thing happened, but that. I love you, Nico, but blind squirrel finds a nut sometimes.
Yeah, and
sorry, dude. That was. Yeah, I mean, everybody has an off day, and from what I've heard about JTH, he's just an absolute friggin' monster. So I think it's safe to say that most of our money is on JTH. But mind you, I think that's mainly because he's just not taking Hunter lightly. He's really not. You can tell.
Yeah. And, I mean, a lot of great JTH matches like we've seen with the best out of three with the Canadian Nightmare Mark Boric. I was there for the last one, and it was classic. It went right down to the end, and Mark just couldn't come out with the win. JTH won it, but I mean, it's going to be. I think it's going to be a good match regardless. Hopefully, and I'll be there producing everything that we do usually. But yeah, it's going to be a good one. But yeah, I think that was it for that news.
I just want to say really quick, I'm not counting Hunter out at all. I mean, he JTH said, there's some things that Hunter knows a lot more than JTH does, especially if he. I assume JTH has been studying his WCW and things like that, but I mean, Hunter is just a beast when it comes to the New Japan and the ECW. The kid knows more than most of the people in this league, I think, about about things that that JTH has admitted that he's not the best at. So if he gets lucky, I think Hunter could take it. It's just he's gonna need a lot of luck.
Yeah,
he's gonna need to hit those exact categories when it's clutch.
Yeah, and I think out of all the trivia leagues that Hunter has competed in, the best is Wrestling Forum. And Mark said real quick, hey, I'm helping him with wrestling trivia. So I don't know which one he's talking about. I would assume JTH. I'm not sure. Or maybe it's Hunter. He'll have to be clear on that, but
he's gonna be the Omega to Hunter's Nico and freaking just coach Hunter the whole way through it, and then he'll win.
Does that mean Hunter's
like
ego is
Nico
going to blow out of proportion and challenge like everybody that will beat his ass?
Yeah.
He's going to challenge Jen to an all Pixar match.
Good stuff. Love it.
Oh, yeah. But the next news story coming up, I think, for a lot of us heavy, hard-hitting nerds here, is next week we get a new Marvel film in February, and that's Black Panther. And I wanted to go over real quick predictions for how well do you think it'll open and how well do you think it'll do. Personally, I think it can open. I'm going to say 125 mil on opening weekend because it is February, so that's kind of where I'm going with it. But I still think it has a great opening weekend, and worldwide, I think it's going to dominate. But Shawn, let's go to you real quick. With Black Panther, how do you think it's going to open? What's your overall thoughts? How do you think it's going to do worldwide?
Well, we were talking about this on one of the rewinds a little while ago. And I said that it depends on how the word of mouth is going. And the fact of the matter is, there's been, 70 reviews of Black Panther, and every single one of them has been positive. Like, it's got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes right now. That is fucking mental.
Jesus. I mean, it doesn't surprise me.
I think that there's going to be a lot of different things that have people coming back as well when people do go see Black Panther, because from what I've read, apparently Eric Killmonger, Michael B. Jordan's character, is the best Marvel villain, like maybe even including Loki.
Ooh.
Like that's what the word is right now on it. So honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this did anywhere from like 130 to like 150 opening weekend. It really would not shock me whatsoever, because with how good the word of mouth is, the fact it's being released in Black History Month, and not just that, but like the cultural relevance of all of it, I think that Black Panther's just going to do freaking gangbusters.
Yeah. Caleb, how about you? What are your thoughts with it?
I echo a lot of Sean's thoughts. I also think that it kind of helps that weirdly enough that like all this like weird negative news has been going out about like people saying like, oh, we're gonna boycott and all this stuff. Like, I think that actually helps Marvel out a little bit, because everybody's gonna be like, well, we don't want to be like those idiots. We have to go support this movie, as well as it being just hopeful. Like, honestly, the most promising Marvel movie lately, in my opinion. It's got the most impressive cast. It's a character that that like I don't know that everybody cares about, but he's an important character. And he's I expect it to do really well. I don't know if it'll do as well as you guys are saying, just because, I mean, it is February. It's a dump month.
Well, I mean, I will hearken on.
I mean, but I could say $100,000, sure.
Yeah, Deadpool
I was just about to say that.
February and cleared bank, because February, like you said, Caleb, is that dump month, and
that's true.
Most of these February movies coming out are like, who wants to see 50 Shades Beyond Spaceport or whatever the fuck it's called?
Beyond Thunderdome.
Yeah. God, that would make that movie so much better.
No, it wouldn't. Now that I'm thinking of it.
Who runs New York? Master Blaster.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's what 50 Shades needs is Master Blaster.
Exactly.
Oh God, no.
But yeah. I mean, like, let's face it. Deadpool also was a little bit hampered by the fact that it was a R-rated film, and it still did gangbusters. Yeah. So not everyone could go to see it. But even then, it wound up just absolutely crushing the box office. And like I said, it's Black History Month. So it's one of those things. People are going to be going to see Black Panther. People are going to take their kids to see Black Panther. People are going to go see it multiple times. And not just that, but with how crazy the reaction has been. you got to
Yeah.
imagine it's just gonna fucking blow up.
Oh yeah, it's gonna do good, and hopefully it hangs in there for a while for the repeat viewings. Because I know once they come into Solo, I think a lot of people are going to be staying the hell away from that. But
Yeah.
I think Black Panther, yeah, it's going to do good. It's opening strong compared to a lot of movies that I don't think are going to get hit because of Black Panther opening that week. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. But yeah, that's it for our little bit of news here. Like I said, it's going to be usually shorter ones. So let's open it up to questions from the audience. If you guys have any questions, I know there's a few of you in there. So we'll give a few minutes to throw out some questions. I do want to announce that it's not going to be this weekend because of scheduling, but next weekend we will continue with the TV tournament now that I have some time to work on the TV tournament. And Sandy and Jim is going to be the next match. So that's going to be very well on. I'm probably going to do a little TV skit for tomorrow being Sunday. I haven't decided what yet, but it'll be a little TV skit. Why not? But yeah, it's going to be interesting for the future. What we got, Mark? That's not really a fucking question.
What was this question?
Mark asked, "How are you guys?" We're fine, Mark.
Sorry, I missed that. You cut out. What is his question?
He said, "How are you guys?"
Yeah. So Shawn, Mark wants to know, how are you?
I'm okay.
Caleb, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm tired and I was cold, but I'm not anymore.
Yeah, Shawn, go ahead with how else are you feeling, I guess?
Jesus Christ, am I at a fucking therapy meeting or something like that?
Yeah.
Are you gonna ask me?
Tell me, how does that make you feel?
No, tell me about your mother.
Oh, it's always great to have Mark with the laughs. But yeah, I guess till we get some more questions in, we could talk next week with some matches. I know with one of the Inner Geekdom matches, we'll have to switch around. But we have another newbie match for next week for Inner Geekdom, which I think me and Caleb are pretty excited for Jake and Nico.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know we'll have some more movie matches, some more debuts, maybe a tag team match we'll see.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe that if it's not next week, but the following one, Sons of Apocalypse is coming back, and we're going to play Omega Kappa.
Oh, nice. That'll be a good match for you guys.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll put it like that.
Look out for that.
Yeah.
That's going to be like
the
new takeover team right here, Sons of Apocalypse. Or I apologize. Just Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Well, no, our tag team is Sons of Apocalypse, but yeah, whole faction's Apocalypse.
All right,
but yeah,
the faction is just Apocalypse. I got you.
Yeah.
But I will say for Omega Kappa, they do have that Freebird rule. So Nico has talked a while about a third member, so maybe we might see Jen team with that third member, and that third member might be a little bit stronger of a partner for her.
Is the third member not announced yet? I thought it was.
I don't think it is, unless I missed it. But usually for Nico's posts, I don't pay attention to. Sorry.
No love for the Night Fury. Jeez.
I mean, it's not like I hate on the kid. It's just there's so many of them, and most of them are at night when I want to go to bed. So it's like mute the conversation because I got to get up in the morning.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Okay, another question from Mark here. Do you guys like snow?
No.
What? What was the question?
I moved to California for 2 years, actively trying to get away from it, Mark.
Caleb, what are your thoughts on snow?
I actually don't mind snow. I really like it. As long as it's. I like snow when it's warm enough to be snowing. I don't like it so much when it then
Accumulates.
freezes and makes everything horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like snow is fine in that aspect. I hate driving in it. I love Snow White and I love snow cones. You know, but yeah, that's it for that question. I think.
What good questions. Wow.
We're being so ultimately dismissive of Mark's questions, but I can't be honest with you, I don't really blame us at this point.
Yeah. This is basically the loosest.
Ask a real fucking question, Mark.
I think this is the loosest rewind we've had ever. So
That's true.
Brooklyn's probably gonna watch this.
Turns out, yeah, I was gonna say. Turns out Brooklyn was the one that keeping the train on the tracks.
Brooklyn came in with a clear thought. I did forget to mention that because Brooklyn is taking a break for deal with the family, the new move, and everything. So he's taking a break for a couple weeks for music jukebox trivia. So we won't see that too much until he comes back closer to the end of February. So we are going to miss him with that. Speedy return. Hopefully, we'll try to keep the weekend rewind afloat for you till you get back because we go off rails on the train all the time.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
This is the one place where we get to so much. Like, we're the ones trying to keep it on the keep the train on the tracks while we're playing the games. So
we don't really
get to cut loose and
we don't really worry too much with weekend rewind because it's we let other people deal with it so we can deal with everything else.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Shawn, do you have any announcements about deep cuts? Any news?
Yeah,
Since nobody else is asking questions.
All right. Well, I mean, I've got. I'm going to pick up a webcam tomorrow. That way, I can actually really get started on these matches.
Nice.
Somebody's taking my advice finally.
Yeah. No. Well, that's been the number one problem for me is like my. So I use a Lenovo right now, which for some weird reason has something that looks like a webcam on the top of it, but isn't actually a webcam. Anytime I try to use it on Google Hangouts, just like doesn't work. So I'm going to pick up a webcam. That way I can get started up with the matches. But yeah, the first two matches are going to be, and I've got the questions written out already. Hopefully we're going to have Subrath versus Malcolm in a Robin Williams deep cut match. And we're going to have Salvi versus Matt Kuehler. I think that's how you pronounce his name.
I believe that's how you say it.
Yeah.
Kuehler.
Yeah, Kuehler, whatever the fuck. However you pronounce your fucking name. I'll find out when we do the deep cuts match. But yeah, with them, it's going to be a deep cut Kevin Smith match.
Nice.
And we have our own Silent Bob here with us with Caleb.
Wait, what was that? The last
I said we have our own Silent Bob here with Caleb.
Oh, yeah. Your own Kevin Smith, yeah. The blonde Silent Bob, if you will.
Yeah, all you need is a backwards baseball cap, and you're good to go.
You should have seen me in high school.
Caleb, we got to do an Orgasmo
that's pretty awesome. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I would have loved to be in that Kevin Smith one.
We can make it a triple threat if you want.
No, that's okay.
We can.
I don't need to steal anybody's thunder, man. I'll just jump in a different one. Like me and Tim, I don't know if we've worked it out or anything, but me and Tim talked about the idea of Matt Stone and Trey Parker one. That would be a lot of fun that I'd love to jump in.
We could do that. We could do that for sure.
Because me and him are big fans of those movies, even though most people haven't seen them.
That for like fucking hours about that yesterday.
Yeah, it's true. We talked for way too long about like just throwing back and forth quotes from Matt Stone and Trey Parker movies.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, fun times, fun times.
Um,
But yeah, it's good to see that the deep cuts is coming back because you only had like a few episodes when you first started it, and I'm
We've
glad
had
to see
one.
it coming back. I thought you at least had two.
We've had one, and it was the Christopher Nolan match.
yeah.
Yeah, that was it. I mean, and Woodburn came in and absolutely crushed Malcolm in that match. It was pretty bad.
Oh, it's the Christopher Nolan. What do you expect?
Yeah.
I mean, that's where Woodburn lives. That's his sweet spot. So I mean,
Yeah, well, hopefully he expands on things.
I a little bit feel bad for Malcolm. What's that?
Hopefully he expands on things. I know he just watched Raging Bull last night for the first time.
Ooh.
So.
I haven't watched that in years. I got to rewatch that myself.
Fuck yeah.
It's a fantastic one.
Oh, yeah.
Love that. I think that's my favorite Scorsese.
Yeah.
That's right up there for me.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to pick my favorite Scorsese movie, though, is like trying to pick my favorite child. I don't have any kids or anything like that, but if I did, it'd be fucking impossible.
Which one of you do I love the most?
It depends on the day, but like right now, for sure, that's my favorite of his movies.
Yeah.
What's some news? Because I know, Shawn, you do a lot with Grant with the comic book league. What's some updates, some upcoming matches in that one you can tell us about?
I think 3 more matches, and we're going to be crowning our champion. Kane played against Haven, and Kane won.
Oh,
so
shit.
I think he kind of announced the league that it's the type of thing you need to start watching out for that guy. Because his knowledge base is growing at such a rapid rate where I don't think he's going to be someone that you can sleep on anymore. Because I'm not going to lie, going into that match, Haven runs a comic book store. So this isn't a knock on Kane or anything like that, but I thought Haven was going to come in and absolutely crush it. And when Kane took him out, that was a huge upset. And it seems like that's the way this tournament's been going. Anyone who you think is going to win winds up losing. But mind you, I will say that there are 2 competitors that are going to be playing in the next 2 matches that have had to answer maybe 3 comic book questions the entire tournament, like about the actual source material. So, sorry guys, but you guys have to answer more than that.
Who are those competitors?
They shall remain nameless, but they have only had to answer things about movies or other categories that they're very strong in. And so with that, it is a comic book tournament. All right? It is a comic book tournament. So and as the guy who's going to be head question writer from now on, sorry, but the way it's going to go is I'm going to be writing comic book questions for you guys. Like, you can't just fucking get away with just knowing about movies or TV shows or about, scores and soundtracks or whatever. You have to know about the actual source material.
Oh, I think scores and soundtracks. I think I might have a clue on who one of these are.
Yeah, I might have thrown in a little Easter egg there on who I might be talking about. But, yeah, it's just you have to be able to answer questions about the source material. And I'm getting a little tired of people being able to skate through the league not knowing about that. So, with that, I'm going to have to fucking start, laying it down on them.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. That's I did think that was kind of funny when, like you said, a couple of people, I don't think they answered a single comic book question correctly at all, and are still going into the
semifinals. Yeah, that's ending. That shit's not happening anymore.
And as that, like, as hopefully a future competitor, that that makes this league a whole lot scarier, because like me going in, like I've loved comic books for as long as I can remember, but like my knowledge base goes up to like 2009, 2010, and then I'm screwed. So like,
Yeah, it's fair.
Me, I have to do a lot of studying.
That does make me excited though that it's going to be a lot more comic based. Because that's like honestly that's what sets you guys apart, and what is so cool about the league is that like it's all things comics, and comics definitely shouldn't be taking a backdoor to everything else.
No, 100%. I mean, because then essentially what we're doing is we're just inner geekdom light. You know what I mean? When it comes to, the movie questions and whatnot. Because there are questions that are going to get asked within inner geekdom. So there needs to be more about the source material. And I'm just not fucking having it,
Yeah. And that's understandable with a comic book, league. You should know your source material of the comics. So.
Yep.
Yeah. For mine, you can put in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Power Ranger comics. I remember those, but that'll be like Shawn's like
Hey, it'll come up at some point. I don't know if it'll come up in your match, but you also shouldn't have told me that, because now I'm probably not going to put him in your match.
Oh, don't worry. I say that to Jeremy all the time.
Don't tell the question writer about shit that you're super strong in. I mean, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Those categories will probably be there at a certain point, but yeah, just don't go fucking broadcasting that to the person that's going to be writing questions for the league.
Shawn, I pretty much
bad move.
Look back here behind me. I pretty much fucking broadcast that on a daily goddamn basis.
That's fair. That is fair.
Yeah. I have a problem. I have a problem.
By the way, Tim, I may or may
First
not
step
be learning.
is admitting it.
Yeah. I may or may not be learning a song that's going to make you like giddy as a fucking schoolgirl, essentially.
What, for on your guitar?
Yep.
It probably will. But I think for tonight, because we don't have any more questions from the viewers, and I know we could probably keep rambling on, but I think for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I think we'll close it up there for next weekend. We covered everything from the past week. We don't really have too much to really announce for the future because we haven't got to that point yet for next week. So it'll be kind of like a surprise, and we'll just go over it next weekend. But for our first show, trying to keep it on the tracks while Mom is away nursing, or while Dad is away helping Mom unpack.
I was going to say, what?
Yeah, while Dad is away helping Mom unpack the new house, the kids are at play. But I think we'll wrap it up here tonight for right now. So we will go down the line. Shawn, let's start with you. Where can the good kids find you online, my friend?
I've done a lot of plugging this week, so if you want to find out where to find me, just go watch a match. You'll see me there. You'll see me there. I've either been keeping score or I've been playing. So, yeah, just go watch a fucking match.
Shawn has been whoring it up more than I have for the wheel rounds.
Let's not push it on that one. Fucking Papa John's pizza.
Oh, yeah. One of the comments on there was Nico with the last one. Like, Jesus Christ, you should be getting sponsorship by now, Tim. Like, yeah.
I know, right?
But Caleb, let's go to you. Where can the good kids find you online?
I mean, much like Shawn, you've seen me everywhere, but I will plug it anyways, just because I'm insecure. Be my friend. Caleb H on Facebook. You can also find me on Jack of All Trivia, YouTube and Facebook. Same name, same channel. Join up and hit me up if you want to match, or just to chat about geeky bullshit, because that's all I do.
All right.
If you're in the Chicago area, check out my band, The Beta Waves. We're playing the Taste of Cairo in West Chicago on the 7th. March 7th.
Nice. And of course, I am TM Smith. You can find me the same as Caleb and a lot of the time Shawn. You can find me on Jack of All Trivia on Facebook and YouTube, same name. And I have my own personal YouTube channel, TM Smith Reactions. I haven't done anything with it for a while, but you can look at past things I've done on there. And you can find me on a lot of matches, whoring myself out to the wheel for sponsorship because we'd like to get paid, but we're not going to do a Patreon and say we need money to feed ourselves like certain ones, but hey, it's what we do. So that is Shawn, that is Caleb, I am TM. We will see you next time on next week's Weekend Rewind. Peace out.
Fuck you, bitches.